Let's enhance the look of our spreadsheet by adding some formatting. Click the Home tab if you are not already there. In general, formatting controls the appearance of our spreadsheet. This includes font type and size, lines and borders, column and row height and width, and other visual features that make our spreadsheet easier to understand and read. In order to change the formatting of a cell address, we must first make it the active cell. Let's make some formatting changes to our labels by starting with the names of the months. We'll come back to the title in a minute. January through June, cells B2 through G2 should be in bold type. We could format each cell individually, but it's easier and faster to apply formatting to multiple cells simultaneously. Click B2, hold down the mouse button, and drag to G2. We've successfully selected multiple cells, also called a range. We can apply formats to a selected range of cells. Click the B tool on the Font tool area. The contents of the cells are now in bold type. This tool is a toggle switch, which means that it turns on and off the same way. The same technique works for the U button for underline and I button for italics. Let's try our title. Click cell A1. We could click the bold icon on the Font tool area again, but this time let's use the keyboard shortcut. Press the Ctrl and B keys and the title appears in bold. While we are here, let's center this title over the data in the entire spreadsheet. With cell A1 still selected, hold down the left mouse button and drag the cursor from A1 to G1. In the Alignment tool area, float the mouse over the arrow next to Merge and Center. A pop-up appears telling us what this tool does. Now move the cursor a little to the left to roll over the Merge and Center icon itself. Now we have an illustration example of the same tool. Not every tool has this dual information feature, but as you are exploring this program, be sure to check both the words and arrows. Click the Merge and Center icon. This title is now nicely centered across our page. Click any other cell, and we can see the formatting changes we made. The headings Income, Expenses, Total Expenses, and Balance don't stand out. Let's make them more obvious so our spreadsheet is easier to read. We could first select one cell and click the icon or shortcut, and then select the next cell and do the same. But there's an easier, more efficient method. Click cell A3 to make it active. Press the Ctrl key, and while holding it down, click cell A5, A11, and A13. Now all cells are selected, and whatever we choose to do will be done to the contents of all of them. Click the B icon on the Font tool area or use the keyboard shortcut. With these cells still selected, move your mouse pointer from one tool to another on the Alignment tool area to find the centering icon. The tool tips appear, giving a brief description of each tool's purpose. Click the Center button on the Alignment tool area. The data in each selected cell is now centered. It's easier to see the labels with wider columns. Let's widen all columns at the same time. Move the mouse pointer to column B's header. When the mouse pointer changes to a black arrow pointing down, click and drag across to column G's header. Notice the change in color when compared to the remaining unselected columns. Position the mouse pointer to the right of one of the selected column headers over the vertical bar, and it becomes a double-sided arrow. This is one of Excel's sizing arrows. We can drag it to the right to widen the columns or to the left to make it narrower. Click and drag to the right. As we drag, watch for the pop-up flag displaying the width. Widen the columns to 15. Click a cell to deselect the columns. All selected columns are now the same width. Let's format the items in column A as well. Some of the labels spill into the next cell space, which will be hard to read once we start adding data. Place the mouse pointer on the line between column A and column B. With the double arrows on the column divider, double-click the mouse button. Excel adjusts column A's width to the column's longest label, which now fits comfortably inside its borders. That made the column wider like we wanted, but now we have more room than necessary for the individual expense labels. If each of the expense categories were aligned differently, they would fill up the space better, so let's do that. Highlight cells A6 through A10. This time, right-click any of the cells and click the Center Align icon on the shortcut menu. The highlighted labels are now center-aligned between the left and right edges of column A. This spreadsheet is certainly beginning to look better. We can also change the font type and font size for our spreadsheet. To select the spreadsheet in its entirety, click the gray box with a downward triangle in the upper leftmost corner of the spreadsheet, just below the name box. In the Font Tool area of the Home tab, click the down arrow to the right of the current font name. Suzanne's default font type is Calibri 11 point. A list of fonts opens with Calibri as the suggested font. Notice the name of the font shows how it will look. We are going to change the font to Times New Roman. We can look at different fonts by using the scroll bar on the right to see what other fonts look like. Click the down arrow on the bottom of the scroll bar. Holding the mouse button down as opposed to clicking allows us to move more quickly through the rows towards the bottom of the list. Click the up arrow on top of the vertical scroll bar. We can hold down the mouse button here as well to move more quickly to the top of the list. In addition to using the scroll bars to locate Times New Roman, we can also use the shortcut of typing the first letter. Suzanne, type T. The list jumps to all font names beginning with the letter T. Immediately, we go to the first font that begins with a T. Type an I. And we are at Times New Roman. Excel has a preview feature that shows us what fonts look like before we select them. Run the mouse over any font name in the font list without selecting it. Notice the worksheet underneath changes the font menu. Excel automatically shows what the selection will look like with the new font. However, the formatting isn't set until we click the name of the font. Suzanne, select Times New Roman. Click the down arrow to the right of the current font size to display the list. The preview feature also works here. As we move our mouse down the list, the size of our document changes too. Change the font size to 12. Click any cell. Now only the cell we clicked is active. The other cells and the column and row headings return to their usual colors. It looks like our label for total expenses in column A is too large again. Move the cursor between column A and B and double-click. Press Ctrl Home to return to cell A1. Suzanne has decided she's not happy with how our title displays. Let's use the new Excel cell styles to set the formatting on our title. Excel 2007 has a number of built-in styles we can apply to our entire document or just to a single cell. Again, make sure we're on the Home tab, and from the Styles tool area, click the Cell Styles button. Excel loads a gallery of various cell display options. Some of these are designed to show specific outcomes, such as a good, bad, or neutral number, or flag cells for different data values. However, we also have a number of selections under Titles and Headings, which will attractively format our heading. Move the mouse over Heading 2, and notice the text in cell A1 changes to match whatever format the mouse is currently pointing to, another example of Excel's formatting preview. Select Heading 2. The formatting change has now been applied to our label. Finally, we want to adjust the size on our balance row. Click number 13 on the left side to select the entire row, and press the right mouse button to bring up a shortcut menu. Click the down arrow to the right of the current size and change the number to 16. Our font size for our balance row is now 16. Notice, too, the row height adjusts to accommodate the larger type. We're ready to move on. Select the Save button at the top of the screen to resave the file. Since we already assigned a file name and storage location for the file, we only need to click the Save button. It's a good idea to get in the habit of saving your work every few minutes. We have finished the structure and look for our spreadsheet. It's time to learn one of the most valuable tools in Excel, creating formulas.